For women over 50, midlife changes everything, especially our bodies. And if you're like a lot of women, you may be eating less than you did in your 30s, and somehow the weight is still creeping up. So for me, recently I have finally been able to stop guessing about how to lose fat. I stopped trying everything and focused on the few things that actually move the needle. And here I'm going to share a handful of the things that actually work for me. I am about 5'7" and I weigh about 100 and say 43, 42 pounds. And maybe in some folks' books that's heavy, but I don't know, maybe average to below average or something like that. Um, so here's what I just want to share that works for me. So let's start here. Protein, because if this isn't stable, nothing else is going to work. I build my meals around protein now, mostly plant-based. However, I do eat egg whites. Now, while there's more. Now, I do prefer plant-based. I do eat things like salmon, occasionally chicken, and at times I'll eat some steak or some beef. The thing is, my body doesn't really like beef, and I'll often need to detox from it after I eat it because red meat somehow makes me puffy. So I use meats, and in the order that I talked about them, I use them medicinally when I want a quick shot of protein. But otherwise, my body really doesn't like eating steak. Don't get me wrong. Um, it and its fatty bits are delicious. But so are potato chips, cookies, cakes, and ice cream. And I mostly avoid those things too. When I eat all of that, I feel puffy, I feel heavy, I feel inflamed. And now I don't argue with that. I take it as feedback from my body and adjust my next meal or my next day according to what I may have eaten previously. So protein for me comes first. Also, I aim to eat by noon and finish around, say, 6 p.m. It's not a strict thing that I do, but it is very intentional. And you'll hear me say that more than once as I go through these things. Um, None of this is really strict, except for my HRT. I do that on a schedule. Um, but the things that I do, they are very intentional. If I eat late and heavy, I pay for it. My energy gets off and my sleep quality definitely declines. And you may know that once sleep is off, then your cortisol is going to rise. And cortisol loves to drive up visceral fat. Visceral fat is some of that stubborn fat that's in our bodies. It hangs around inside of the midsection. It also hangs around like our organs and stuff like that. It's the fat that really wasn't there. No matter how you're eating now, it's the fat that really wasn't there when you were, say, in your 30s. Cortisol feeds that. So now we're not just talking about food, we're talking about metabolic stability, especially for women who are navigating menopause, which is why I stopped chasing weight loss and started focusing on fat loss, especially visceral fat, because you can find yourself losing weight to be thin and at the same time losing muscle. And in midlife, muscle maintenance and development is gold. At this stage, I don't want a smaller, softer body. At this stage, I want to be leaner and stronger. And that is why lifting weights matters. I can hear you saying if you sound anything like me, nobody got no interest in lifting any weights, but it's worth it for your bones. It's worth it for being able to get up. It's worth it for when you wake up in the morning and things don't hurt as much. It's worth it for your mood. Um, it's just it just is. So I'm not talking about lifting weights. I don't do it perfectly. I don't do it obsessively. And if I'm being honest, I lift weights one, two, three times a week. But nevertheless, like I said, I do it, and it's intentional because of the effect that it has on my mood and that it has on my body. So I'm not obsessive about it, but I do it consistently. And when I lift, my waist tightens, my posture is straighter, and my face even looks more youthful. I don't know the science behind it, but it's just what happens. You don't um, do a workout in isolation. So maybe because I'm working out something else, it just kind of the endorphins that get released just benefit all aspects of my body. I've even heard people talk about how your scalp, how your hair even grows more when you work out. So you don't, and we're not working out our scalps in that way. So at any rate, lifting weights really does matter. Um, so it affects the whole body. And after 50, powerful matters more than smaller. So having a more powerful body is just it's just really a game changer. Now let's talk about the simplest thing that I do every day: raw greens. I call it dino time. I've been doing it for a while, but recently heard that term from a creator on TikTok. So what I do is I literally grab a handful of lettuce, and I use black salt. Sprinkle a little bit of black salt because black salt has this kind of eggy taste to it. And I just love eggs in I love eggs and everything. So, the stuff that I don't eat it by choice. It's not that I'm not eating it because I don't like the taste of it. Um, it's just that my body seems to do better based on some of the stuff. So back to the lettuce. I grab a handful, I sprinkle a little black salt on there. I like to use olives to get in some healthy fat. So I'll do some olives that have garlic inside of them. They have a few different kinds. I know of course, they have some that's stuffed with blue cheese. They also have some olives that are stuffed with, um, what are those things? They're stuffed with jalapenos. So I do olives. I do two or three olives, put those on the salad, a little bit of black salt, nothing fancy, and I'm done. But the goal for me is to eat that every day. Raw greens aren't just about, and they do help your skin look a little bit more glowy. They brighten your undertones. My skin, when I eat it, my skin just looks a little bit more vibrant and it's a lot less dull. In fact, if I skip a day somehow, and I have to do this stuff because it helps with my routine. But if I fall out of routine, girl, I am out of routine. I gotta like pull things back together to get back in routine. So on those occasions when I have, I'm not doing it somehow, I've skipped a couple days, then I can just tell that my skin is more dull. Um, but greens, they just matter for weight loss. Greens are fiber, and fiber does a lot of quiet work in the body. It slows digestion, so you feel a little bit more satisfied. You feel satisfied longer. It helps to stabilize the blood sugar, and it helps you, like I said, it helps you feel, fuller longer. That matters in midlife because when blood sugar just bounces all over it's bouncing around, your cravings will soon follow. So either greens or a supplement, and oftentimes I'm doing both of those every day. And my supplement, I really don't mean a supplement. I mean something that helps me with elimination. I'll take something like that every day because I want to go every day. So fiber, like I said, helps with digestion, and which means you can actually eliminate waste instead of holding on to it. When that system is working, your belly is gonna be flatter. and the body is just going to feel just a little bit lighter. So all of these things do something small. All of these things do something small, and together it makes you feel more alive. So if you have for those of us who may have a pudge or a little bit of or pudge or even a bigger or smaller pudge or whatever, and if you want to get rid of it, then yeah, you'll want to eliminate waste every day. And if this lower portion is sticking out a little bit further than, say the upper portion of your belly, so like if the lower portion, I can't show you, but this lower portion is sticking out more than your upper portion, it's likely it's waste that needs to be eliminated. And girl, I've gone to the doctor before and done like an x-ray, and more than once, and the doctor's been like, ma'am, you full of poop. So um um yeah, that makes a big difference in terms of trying to get your, and it's like I said, it's not just for aesthetics, it's so you can feel a lot better. So greens are simple, but they are very powerful. They're not exciting, but you can zhuzh them up a little bit, and you get it down a handful. You can eat it on the spot. That's how I do sometimes. And grab your handful, put it on your plate, a little bit of black salt and a few olives, and bam, you're done. But they're doing greens, they do a lot of work. They do a lot of heavy lifting in the background. And when I eat them, I can really feel the difference in my body. So the same with hydration. I drink water daily too. I aim for more than 64 ounces. I start with about 32 ounces in the morning when I wake up. And I don't, like I said, I don't do this stuff perfectly, but I get up in the morning and I have a bottle like this. I haven't drank this down yet, but I will get through. We'll get through that today. I do a couple of sleeping is dehydrating. So I do, so I keep a glass of water by the bed, or keep this by the bed actually. And I drink as much of it as I can stand in the morning. And usually because sleep is dehydrating, I just drink it till I'm satisfied. I mean, and I'm gulping until I'm satisfied. Did you know that sometimes when you think you're hungry, we probably know this by now. When you think you're hungry, you're actually dehydrated. Sometimes your skin is dull. Sometimes you're feeling sluggish. And if you're feeling any of that, start with water. It really does make a difference. Let me ask you something honestly. If someone followed your eating and sleep habits for, say, the next 6 months, would they get the body that you have now? I mean, it's just something to think about. And I also learned that, health impacts happen over about a span of 10 years. So it takes 10 years for your body to, develop, chronic illness. So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt, but I did recently hear or read that somewhere. So now, this won't be popular, but sometimes when I don't feel like cooking and still want something nutrient dense, I eat sardines. Yes, sardines. I add a little bit of vinegar to them in the little can. Add a little bit of vinegar to them. I don't like the tomato based ones or whatever they're called, like the tomato sauce ones. Those feel like they for cats, but they're the lemon ones, they feel like they for cats too. Well, they don't settle all that well. But the ones that are like the Mediterranean style ones that usually have the olives in them, I really do like those. Nearby, they have like a white guy on the front, like a sketch of a white guy's face on the front of them. Oscar or something Oscar. Those I usually get that kind. And they have a few different kinds. I usually get the ones that either have the olives in them or just are in olive oil. Those go down quite well. So I take the can open, pop the can open, and I add a little bit of vinegar in there. Then I take them out of the can. I've also heard that you're not supposed to heat anything in a can. So I used to just put them in my I don't need to go on no tangent. I take them out of the can, put the vinegar in there, take them out of the can, put them in something to heat, usually in the microwave with a something on top of it so that they will pop all over the microwave. So put them in the microwave, put my olives in there too, because I'm usually taking those out of the fridge and they're quite cold. Put them in there too, let them in the microwave 30 seconds, I don't know, 45 seconds. Pull them out, sprinkle them with some hot sauce. They're high in protein and omega 3s. Very, very satisfying. Very, I mean, after you eat them, you feel like you feel straight. So sardines are something that's very efficient because when you're tired, you all of us, well, that's what we want to be able to do is to default to convenience. So I built better convenience and I spend about $70 to $90 a week on about 4 prepared meals that are delivered to my home. And I get them delivered once a week. There are several companies, but I really do like Cook Unity. These keep me from sabotaging myself when um, when I've had like a busy day and I just don't want to cook. I'm not a person who likes to cook at all. So they help me from, when I'm hungry, I'm like, I'm looking around what I'm going to have. I'll too often grab something out or dread cooking something out of the freezer. So these meals, they are really good because they don't, I don't feel any like bloatedness after I eat them. Those meals seem to really be satisfying to me. So Cook Unity is what I use. It's maybe obvious, but I'll say it anyway that there's no sponsorship or anything. It's just one that I like, and I've tried a few of them, but this one I'm pretty satisfied with. So digestion matters too. If you're not going to the bathroom daily, you're going to feel bloated. So I take a few supplements like I was pointing out earlier. In particular, that helps with that. I take magnesium. I usually take that every day. And I take the magnesium because it also helps you to kind of get your body relaxed. I usually take that at night. Mix it in with I have like this fiber that's I got to process. And my body needs the extra support now that I'm older. So I do the things, I'm usually hungry in the evening time. So I'll maybe grab like an orange, because oranges they are very satisfying as well. If you like an orange, maybe an orange, grab me a cup, put me some magnesium in there, put me a little bit of fiber. I got a flavored fiber that I use. And it's delicious. It's delicious, and I'm satisfied after, so I don't find myself eating, snacking too much into the evening. So I do take, like I said, magnesium. I do a detox. I do some kind of a detox support, and I also add ketones into my diet. Ketones, you look those up. Ketones help you in so many ways with your overall health. Magnesium also helps with, like I said, it helps with regularity, and like I said, it also helps with getting a good night's sleep. It makes your sleep a little bit, makes your body relax. So I don't take the magnesium in the daytime. It doesn't, maybe I need to test this a little bit more, but I generally take it at night. Maybe you could take it during the daytime. I don't know. You maybe want to test your body, test some of the stuff with your body to see what works best. Um, and when digestion works better, my belly is flatter, and when digestion works, my whole body just works better. Hormones matter. I mean, this is probably obvious to us, right? Hormones matter. I'm on HRT. If you've seen any of my videos before, I've talked about how I'm on HRT. That affects fat distribution. HRT affects the fat distribution in my body and my workout recovery. I don't pretend that food does everything. Like I said, I lift weights and do HRT, and I do supplements. I don't know if you want to categorize that as food or not because it's edible. Well, I know it's not food, but I do HRT and I lift weights. And like I said, I don't pretend that food does everything, but food really does support my whole, it really does, it supports my whole system. But HRT, um, it, it helps me out tremendously. And the system runs on sleep. All of this runs on sleep. I wake up at the same time every day, not always, but many days I do. And when I do wake up, I work to get some sunlight on my face. Well, I do that pretty consistently. And if it's not sunlight, what I've bought is a 10,000, I don't know the terms for, but it's a 10,000, it's not wattage light. But you can find them on Amazon. They're not very expensive. And you want to get some of this light, this 10,000 blah, blah, blah light. You want to get it on your face, in your eyes, for the first, within 30 minutes to an hour and a half after you wake up. So I turn that light on when I don't get outside, when it's too cold for me to get outside, or when I'm just don't get outside in the morning. It's better to get outside, obviously, if you can, um, and get some sunshine, some of the air and the sun shining down on you. That's so much better. Your body is made to get it on you early in the morning. It helps with releasing, what does it help release towards the night? What's the word that starts with an M? Melatonin. It helps to release melatonin several hours later so that your body can start relaxing. So if you get the sunlight on you, it stops the production in the morning, and then it'll roll back around into the evening time before it's time to wind down, or when it's time to wind down and go to sleep. So my system runs on sleep. Like I said, I wake up every day around the same time, and I get this. So I try to do sun on my face or this light that I use, because you don't get good sleep, at night by accident. You earn it. You literally earn a good night's sleep in the morning. So sleep manages cortisol, and cortisol influences belly fat. Nothing stands alone. Protein affects blood sugar. Blood sugar affects cravings. Cravings affect consistency. Consistency affects fat loss. Sleep affects hormones. Hormones affect fat storage. Light affects sleep. Digestion affects hormones. It's all of these things. They are all connected. And you can create like routines or systems around all of this, where you don't have to think about it, like putting your water next to the bed so that when you wake up, you're already going to be, sleep is a dehydrating event. So put the water by the bed. When you wake up, you just drink it. Your body is naturally craving for it at that time. So just do different things to just make your life easier, because ain't nobody got time you know to add another thing. Ain't nobody got interest or any of that stuff in adding another thing. We're trying to lighten the load, and we're trying to have a body and a life that we enjoy. So make things, create a system for yourself if you can. And if we want to talk about a system that I have, I just didn't think it would be all that interesting, but if you're interested in it, then I'm happy to share when I do certain things throughout the day, with a little bit more detail. So I stopped trying to fix one thing. I don't just eat better. I do all of these things as an orchestra. And the sound of the symphony really does pay off. I started stabilizing my whole picture, and I put it on a cycle. And the steadier my body becomes, the clearer I am about how I want to live at this stage of my life. So if I step back and look at what's actually working for me right now, really comes down to a handful of things. Prioritizing protein, eating within the 12 to 6 o'clock window, lifting weights 1, 2, 3 times a week, but every week. I didn't say this, but I do try to get in some walking. I have a walking pad that I set up in front of the TV. You see, I love for things to be easy. I have a walking pad, so I get on that. I go outside when I can. Obviously prefer to be outside walking, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm plopped in front of the TV, and when I'm plopped in front of the TV, instead of just plopping, I'm on my walking pad. Every show is 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna watch TV for 30 minutes, and that really, that, but it kind of depends on my schedule in terms of if I'm going to get out or not. I eat raw greens and I get in fiber daily. I even supplement with fiber because the goal is the fiber. I mean, the goal is the greens, but it's also the fiber. Um, I know it can feel hard to get in a salad every day, but honestly, like I said earlier, I just grab a handful of greens out of a container, out of those like square containers, out of those bags that you get from the grocery store, and eat them. I'm eating it like that. And that's basically what I do there. Hydration, definitely first thing in the morning, before I even get out of bed, and then throughout the day until I've had enough, until I've met my target for that. And I target about 128 ounces a day. It's a target. I'm doing things to support waste release, and I know you know what I mean. For me, I just have to take something, and I have to take something basically daily, despite the other things that I'm doing. But like I said, it's an orchestra. It's got all these different parts, but when they come together, boy, is the music sweet. HRT has probably been the biggest game changer, if I'm being honest. Once my estradiol patch moved to 0.075, I started out at 0.0375, I think. Then I went to zero point 0.05, and now I'm at 0.075. I could quickly feel a difference in my body. And if I'm honest, I notice it more in my overall health and strength. My muscles and bones feel stronger, even more than I notice it directly affecting fat loss. I do feel it in my overall body and my mood, which is gold. Protecting my sleep quality, because better sleep improves metabolic health, and metabolic health is key for reducing the fat that collects around your organs. And yes, like I said, sardines, they help me get into and stay closer to ketosis. And ketosis, even at a lower level, helps me be trimmer, helps me, burn some of this the visceral fat that is in our bodies. So none of this is extreme, but together these things have made a real difference for me. I know there was a lot. Stop the video, take notes. Because like I said, none of these things are done in isolation. I'm not going to beat the dead horse here and say too much, but thank you for joining. I hope this is helpful to you. And if you have questions, absolutely put them down in the comments. Health management and mood management, and living a life that I love is something that I'm really fond of, and I take it seriously. I'm serious about it, but I'm not rigid, I guess, about it. So at any rate, take care of yourselves. And I really do mean take care of yourselves. And I will see you in the next one.